So on this wonderful occasion of Radhashtami, I wish you all a wonderful day. And for those who are attending the London Rath Yatra, it is a double festival, Radhashtami and Rath Yatra, which I don't believe has happened before in London. So it's quite special. So the purpose of life, as we all know it, and not just for the humans, but if you even look at the animal kingdom, the purpose of life is essentially to enjoy. This is the ultimate truth. Vedanta Sutra says in the 12th Sutra of the first section, Anandamayo Bhyasat. Every living entity is after enjoyment. Everyone wants to enjoy. So the question is, where do we get this enjoying spirit from? We are part and parcel of Krishna. The 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mama eva amshaha, Mama eva amshaha. The living entity is my part and parcel, amshaha. Mama eva amsho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Eternal part and parcel, sanatanaha. And yet, we can't enjoy in this material world. But we get this enjoyment spirit from somewhere. So Srila Prabhupada tells us this enjoyment spirit is from the original cause, whose part and parcels we are. So the spirit to enjoy is coming from Krishna. Because Krishna is not like, there are certain people who believe that God is up there in the clouds with a big beard and he's sleeping or he's just sitting doing nothing. God is enjoying. And hence, it's that one singular enjoyment spirit which sustains the whole universe. If you think of the whole universe, everything is going on. People are doing different kinds of activities. Ultimately, because they want to enjoy. Ananda. Anandamayo Abhyasa. So even God wants to enjoy. And this propensity of enjoyment coming from God is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, 12th chapter, where it is described that everyone, even the jnanis, they want to enjoy. Ittham satam brahma sukhanubhutya bhutya. Ittham satam brahma sukhanubhutya. Brahma sukha anubhuti, even the jnanis want. They want to enjoy the highest bliss. Dasyam gatanam paradevatena. Those who are the servants of the Lord, they want to enjoy serving the Lord. Maya shritanam naradarakena. Those who are ordinary people, they want to enjoy their children. But the most glorious, the people of Vraj, Sakam Vijarhu, which means enjoyed, Sakam with Krutapunya Punja. They have done so much pious activity, so much bhakti, that they enjoyed Sakam Vijarhu. They enjoyed directly with the Lord. So the residents of Goloka are enjoying, residents of material world are enjoying, and those who are devotees are enjoying, those who are non-devotees and in other paths of self-realization like jnana or tapasya, they also want to enjoy. But Sakam Vijarhu, another meaning is the Lord enjoyed with the Brajvasis. So this enjoyment spirit, to be happy be glad. In fact, the Sanskrit word is hlad. Hlad. From this word hlad, in old Proto-Germanic came the word hlad, from which you have the derivative through Danish and other languages, the English word glad. The English word glad comes from hlad, which means to be joyful. So this, how can the Lord be joyful? See, we are trying to be joyful by interacting with the material nature. But how is the Lord joyful? So the Lord is joyful by having two people on his side constantly. Just like, we are so much after happiness that even if we are put under a circumstance where we have to suffer for a temporary period or so-called suffering, we cannot forget our happiness. So in my house, for example, we, in the olden days, they used to have this practice that as soon as one wakes up, the first thing one remembers and speaks is the name of Govinda. So as soon as you wake up, you say Govinda, 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 Govinda 5 times. So in my house, we practice this. The children also, as soon as they wake up, first thing they say Govinda, 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 Govinda. Recently, I have been to Govardhan Eco Village for Ayurvedic treatment. And my son Dhruv, he was also taking the treatment, some simple, he was not taking full proper treatment. He was going through some simple procedures. But here the food he was eating was boiled vegetables and all these simple vegetables and medicines. And he was missing out so much on food. One morning after 7 days, one morning when he woke up, I said, Dhruv, come on, wake up. He woke up. And he woke up and he said, Govindas, 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 Govindas. He was thinking of going to Govindas so much. So enjoyment is so deep within that even if you artificially curtail it, it doesn't remain. And the Lord also is always, just like a person who loves football will always, you find him always going around with his football everywhere. So the Lord is going around with two pleasure potencies always. In Purusha Bodhini Upanishad, in the Vedas, it is mentioned. Purusha Bodhini Upanishad in the Vedas, it is mentioned, Dve Parshve Chandra Vali Radhiketi Uktva Yasyam Shena Lakshmi Durgadika Shakti. Dve Parshve. With him there are two constantly. Chandravali Radhika iti. Radhika and Chandravali are constantly with the Lord. Yasyam Shena, and the Amsha of Radharani is Lakshmi, and the Amsha of Lakshmi is Durga, Adika Shakti, and other Shaktis. They are all, from Durga comes Kali. Who people worship, Calcutta, they worship Kali. So the origin of the Lord's happiness is Radharani. Is Radharani ordinary person? Like Krishna is after some ordinary 14-year-old girl. Radharani is, her Nitya age is 14 years old. So is she after some ordinary girl? Well, some Indians think like that Radharani is ordinary. Some ordinary girl in Braj. But actually, in Bhagavad Gita, we find in the 10th chapter, Arjuna says, Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, you are the supreme living entity. You are the supreme refuge. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, you are supremely pure. So if he is supremely pure, can anything or anyone that is not pure associate with him? Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, you are not ordinary person like ordinary living entities, ordinary men and women. You are Purusham Shashwatam Divyam, you are transcendental. Adi Devam, you are the origin of all the Devatas. Ajam, you are unborn. Vibhum, you are the supreme. So for this supreme person, who is supremely pure, can he be associating with someone who is ordinary? Now, one may say, oh, Arjuna was a friend of Krishna, so he says that Krishna is supremely pure. So just so that somebody doesn't think like that, Arjuna continues. He says, Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve. Not only I am saying this, all the rishis are saying this. Okay, rishis are saying, which rishis? So he continues. Devarshir Naradas Tatha Asito Devalo Vyasa. So he gives example. Devarshi Narad, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. You yourself also told me you are supremely pure. So all your associates are supremely pure by definition. Everything you associate with, otherwise they cannot approach you. Then he says, Sarvam etad vritam manye. I consider this to be truth. Sarvam etad vritam manye. Ritam means truth. The English word right, R-I-G-H-T, comes from the Sanskrit word rit, which means right. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I consider this to be right, that you are supremely pure. Yan mam vadasi keshava. Whatever you told me is right. That you are supremely pure, you are a supreme person. Nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana danava. But even the devatas and the danavas and the manushya don't understand you to be the supreme person. They think you are ordinary. So if you think Krishna is ordinary, automatically you think Radharani is ordinary. Otherwise, who is this Radharani? Generally, mathematically, we think the number 25 is less than number 64, correct? Number 25 is less than number 64. And that is correct, mathematically. But transcendentally, Krishna with 64 qualities becomes subordinate to Srimati Radharani, who has only 25 qualities. So 25 is greater than 64 in that sense. Or Srimati Radharani's qualities are such. In Gautamiya Tantra, it is mentioned. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata. There is one Devi who is Krishnamayi, fully Krishnized. Her name is Radhika. And she is Paradevata. She is not ordinary. She is a supreme goddess. What is her nature? Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. She is the origin of all Lakshmis in the universe and Sarva Kantihi. She is the most brilliant. Sammohini Para. And she is Sammohini. She even makes Krishna go after her. Krishna is Madana Mohana. Madana means we are all after Madana. Madana means Cupid. Cupid has Panchashara. Another name of Cupid is Panchashara, one who has 5 arrows. The Cupid casts his arrows and we become completely lusty and maddened with desire. But this Cupid himself is maddened when he sees Krishna. Madana means Cupid. The English word mad comes from mad, which means to become mad. Madana means Cupid, who makes us mad, crazy. So Madana Mohana, one who even bewilders the Cupid, is Krishna. But Radharani is Madana Mohana Mohini, one who bewilders even Krishna, who bewilders the Cupid. And this is the pramana, this is the evidence given in Gautamiya Tantra. Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. Sammohini. Srimati Radharani, everyone is running after Krishna. And Krishna is running after Srimati Radharani. This is her glory. So, Srimati Radharani is so powerful because she is the original energy of the Lord. Swarupa Shakti. The very form of the Lord, the very existence of the Lord is connected with Srimati Radharani. Just like the sun and the sunlight. Prabhupada explains, you cannot say there is sunlight, but there is no sun. Neither can you say that there is sun, but there is no sunlight. These are interconnected so deeply that they are inseparable. So the whole world worships Radharani and Krishna runs away. The whole world is running after Krishna and Krishna is taking Radharani and running away. We see this. We see this in the Rasa Leela episode. In Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 10, in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10, chapter 28. We have this very famous verse. Anyaradhito nunam Bhagavan Haririshwaraha Anaya, by another one. So in the Rasa dance, there are so many innumerable gopis who are the highest devotees of the Lord. And yet, Anaya Aradhita. Anaya means by another one. Aradhitaha. Worshipped by this one particular girl, Noonam, no one compared to her. Bhagavan Hari Ishwaraha. Hari Ishwar Bhagavan, Yanno Vihaya Govindaha. Yanno Vihaya, he took her away from the assembly of Rasa dance, from innumerable gopis. He picked one who was the highest, the best devotee of the Lord, Aradhita. Here, the Acharyas have said, our Gaudiya Acharyas, that the word Aradhita here is mentioned to indirectly refer to Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani was that one who Krishna took away from the middle of the Rasa dance and he disappeared with her. Pritoyam Anayadraha. Where did he take her? Pritoyam Anayad Raha. Raha means in some secluded place, secret place. Nobody knew where they went. Krishna and Radharani left. Everyone was behind Krishna. Krishna picks up Radharani and goes because that is his own internal potency, non-different from him. She is not an ordinary 14-year-old girl of Raj. We have mention of Radharani in so many other scriptures. Skanda Puran mentions and Padma Puran mentions, so many Puranas mention. But Bhagavad Puran, there is no direct mention of Srimati Radharani. So sometimes some people accuse that, oh, you are quoting this verse, Anayaradhito nunam, that you are saying Radharani's name is there. Where is the direct mention? Well, he could not mention directly. I will tell you one very sweet secret. Shukadeva Goswami is considered by certain authorities to be the parrot of Srimati Radharani, a devotee of Srimati Radharani. And he could not speak the name of Radharani because of the situation that Parikshit Maharaj was in. In Brahma Vaivarta Puran, it is mentioned. Shri Radha Nama Matrena Murcha Sanmashiki Bhavet. Shri Radha Nama Matrena, simply by saying the name of Radharani, Murcha Shanmasiki, 6 months of paralysis. Shukadeva Goswami would have got. Nochareta, That is why he did not speak. He did not do the Uchcharana. Nochareta Mataspashtam. Did not clearly speak the name of Radharani. Parikshit Hitakrinmunihi. Parikshit Hitakrinmunihi. He was a Muni who was thinking of Parikshit. Oh, Parikshit has only 7 days. Then he's going to die. If I even speak the name of Srimati Radharani, I will, be paralyzed, unconscious for 6 months. Thinking that he deliberately did not even speak the name Radhika or Radharani. The name Radha would have affected him so much, God put him into ecstasy that he would have been unconscious. So this is the reason. And also another reason. The Radhashtami, today is Radhashtami, the appearance of Srimati Radharani. You might have heard that we are coming up to Bhadra Purnima. This is month of Bhadra, and Bhadra Purnima is the day when Takshaka, the snake, bit Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj left this world and went to the spiritual. That happened on the Purnima. Now work backwards. Purnima is the 15th day. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Today is the 8th. How many days Bhagavatam was spoken? 7 days. Some authorities say that on that occasion, the Ashtami and Navami were on the same day. So it was today on Radhashtami that Bhagavatam was first spoken by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. Other authorities say that Bhagavatam was spoken from tomorrow, Navami onwards. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, 7 days. So either today or tomorrow, it was so close to Radhashtami that Shukdev Goswami could not bear to speak openly about Radharani. This is secret. So Radharani has direct connection to Srimad Bhagavatam. And this indirect way of mentioning Srimati Radharani's name, we see that even in our Gaudiya authorities. Srinath Chakravarti Thakur has said, if you don't remember anything else, if you don't remember any philosophy, if you don't remember at all anything, just remember these 5 things which you can count on one hand. On one hand, 5 things. He says, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. Who is the most worshipable? The Supreme Lord who appeared in Vraj, who was born of Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Dulal, Nanda Nandana. He is the most worshipable. But even in this sentence, Srinath Chakravarti Thakur starts the word with Aradhya, Radha. So one who is dear to Srimati Radharani, that is hidden there. So first principle, Aradhya Bhagavan Vraja, Vrajesha Tanaya. Vrajesha, who is Vrajesha? Nanda Maharaj, the Ishwar of Vraj. Tanaya means son, son of the Lord of Vraj, so son of Nanda. He is our most worshipable Lord, number 1. He is Bhagwan. Number 2, Tadhama Vrindavanam. His holy abode is Vrindavan, who is the most worshipable for us. Number 3, Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita. That Upasana, that mode of worship, which is Ramya, which gives enjoyment. See again, enjoyment. Which gives enjoyment to the Supreme Lord. Ramya Kachid Upasana. Not Upasana which you are doing, some meditation, tapasya, or yoga. Not that Upasana, but that Upasana which gives him pleasure. Ramya, that which gives him enjoyment. Ladini Shakti has to be everywhere. Ramya Kachid Upasana. What is that Upasana? Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita. That which was performed by the gopis of Vrindavan. headed by Srimati Radharani. This is number 3. Number 4, Shrimad Bhagavatam Ramanam Amalam, the highest transcendental literature, which is without any fault, is the only companion you need. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Preman Umartho Mahan. The ultimate goal is to attain the love of the Lord. Prema Umartho Mahan. This is the supreme goal. Prema. These 5. What are these 5? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matam Idam Tatra Darahana Para. These are the 5 matas. Matas meaning opinions or conclusions of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Idam Tatra Daraha. That is why remember these. Adaraha, respect these 5. Na Paraha. There is nothing. Na Paraha. There is nothing more. Nothing more to remember. There is nothing more to. So even in this you see Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. Aradhyo, Radharani's name is hidden there. So Radharani's glories are such that even the Lord himself cannot understand her. This is very mystical because the Lord is very boldly saying in Bhagavad Gita on the battle of Kurukshetra, chapter 7, verse 26, Bhagavad Gita, he is very boldly saying, Vedaham samatitani. I know everything in the past. Vartmanani cha Arjuna. I also know everything that is going on in the present. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. I also know everything about everyone in the future. Mam tu vedana kaschana. There is nothing that I don't know. I know everything about everything. He is very boldly proclaiming, and yet he does not understand or know the love that Srimati Radharani has. He doesn't understand what pleasure he gives him, she gives him. He does not understand how she feels so much pleasure with him. He doesn't understand why he is attracted to his own energy so much. This is the mystery of Mahaprabhu's appearance. Swarup Damodar Goswami, in his Kadacha means his notes, he writes, and this is quoted, Kaviraj Goswami directly quotes this right at the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, first chapter, verse number 5. He quotes, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti. The modification, the exchange of love between Radha and Krishna, Ladini Shakti Rasmat, is because of Ladini Shakti. This exchange of love between Radha and Krishna is the play of Ladini Shakti. That is the glory of Ladini Shakti. Ekatmanav api bhuvi pura. Previously, they are Ekatma. This Radha and Krishna was one Atma previously. Deha Bhedam Gatautau. But they split into 2 to relish each other's love. Who can please God? Only God can please God fully. Otherwise, Bhagavatam says, Atma Ramascha Munayo. This personality, Krishna, he is Atma Rama. Atma Rama means he is self-satisfied. There is nothing external that can satisfy him. There is nothing that he wants. So such a Lord, who can satisfy? Only he can satisfy. So he satisfies himself in the form of Ladini Shakti. Ekatmanav apitav. Ekatmanav. They were one. Api bhuvi para. Previously, they were one. Deha Bhedam Gatautau. But they split into two bodies. Chaitanyakhyam Prakata Madhuna. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam, and he has become one. So the two have become one and appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna who is enveloped. Suvalitam means enveloped. Radha Bhava in the mood of Radharani, and Dyuti, the effulgence of Radharani, golden. He's enveloped in this. He's Krishna. Like in India, you get these some sweets which have on top of it, they have silver foil. Sometimes they have a gold foil. Some sweets are there. So similarly, you can imagine when you're eating that sweet, you might think, oh, I'm biting a gold biscuit. It's actually Kaju Katri with gold completely on it. I have tasted that kind of Kaju Katri. So this Mahaprabhu is like that. He's Krishna, but enveloped with Radha, Bhava, Dyuti, Suvalitam. He's enveloped with Bhava and Dyuti of Radharani. Naumi, Krishna Swarupam. But his Swarupa is Krishna, whom I bow down. Srinath Chakravarti. Sorry, this is Swarup Damodar Goswami says. I bow down to Krishna Swarupa, but the external is Radharani. So they both have become one. This is Mahaprabhu. In fact, there is a beautiful work written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's called Swapna Vilasamrita. No. Yeah. Swapna Vilasamrita Ashtakam. Swapna Vilasa Amrita Ashtakam. Swapna Vilasa. So this is, Swapna means dream, Vilasa means enjoyment, Amrita means nectar. Ashtakam, 8 verses describing this dream pastime. So once Srimati Radharani in Nidhivan, Krishna and Radha, they were resting, and Radharani wakes up suddenly, middle of the night. And she wakes up the Lord and she says, my dear Lord, I saw a dream I have never seen before. And Krishna says, what is that dream? And she says, I saw in my dream a wonderful golden complexioned Brahmana who was very merciful, very compassionate, and he would compassionately give out your holy name. He inundated the whole universe in the holy name of the Lord. This compassionate Brahmana, when I looked at him, he looked as attractive as you. And so I wondered, is that you that I am seeing? And at the same time, knowing his mood of compassion, I could feel actually it was me. Was he me or was he you? I'm so confused. And Krishna says, well, you have seen my form as Narayan and you didn't become surprised. Why are you surprised with this form? Radharani said, because I cannot understand whether it's you or me. Krishna says, oh Devi, look at my heart. And he points to the Kaustubha on his chest. And Krishna says, look at this Kaustubha. Srimati Radharani gazes at the Kaustubha and she sees Radha and Krishna coming together as one and becoming Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Radharani realizes that this is the mysterious incarnation that Gargamuni spoke about when he gave the name of Krishna. He told Nanda Maharaj, he appears in different yugas as blackish, as white, as red, and as yellow or golden. And the fourth golden complexion, Radharani understands, is Mahaprabhu. This is written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Swapna Vilasamrita Ashtakam. So this compassionate nature is the nature of Srimati Radharani. Of 64 qualities of Krishna, one quality is that he is supremely compassionate. In Nectar of Devotion, chapter 22, Srila Prabhupada writes about the compassionate nature of Krishna. And he says, what is the meaning of compassionate? He says, a person who is unable to bear another person's distress is called compassionate. Unable to bear another person's distress. And then towards the end of that qualities description, Prabhupada says, instead of offering obeisances to Krishna directly, devotees offer obeisances to his compassionate nature. So what is this compassionate nature? Actually, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada says, it is very difficult to approach him. But the devotee is taking advantage of his compassionate nature, which is represented by Srimati Radharani. Always pray to Radharani for Krishna's compassion. This is Prabhupada's words, quote unquote. He says this in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 22. So devotees, they take advantage of Krishna's compassionate nature. How? This compassionate nature is represented by Srimati Radharani. And by always praying to Srimati Radharani, the devotees, they invoke Krishna's compassion. Finally, how do we please the Lord? What is the way of pleasing the Lord? How do we please Srimati Radharani? In the Upanishads, one of the principal Upanishads, Chandogya Upanishad, it is mentioned in the chapter 13, very first verse. It is mentioned, Shyama Chabalam Prapadye, Chabalat Shyamam Prapadye, Shyama Chabalam Prapadye. To Shabala means energy. To please Shyama, please Prapadya means surrender, serve. To please Shyama, surrender to Shyamali or Srimati Radharani. And Chabalat Shyamam Prapadye, and to please Radharani, surrender to Krishna. So today, Radhashtami is such a wonderful festival where we invoke the mercy of Srimati Radharani by begging her to take us in front of the Lord. She will invoke the compassion of Krishna because she is Audharya. She is the giver. She gives freely. In fact, even in this material world, we all are enjoying, and so many living entities are enjoying. Even that enjoyment is a reminiscence of the Ladini Shakti of the Lord. Otherwise, there was no possibility of enjoyment, and without enjoyment, there was no possibility of existence. And the flowers, the birds and the beasts, everyone is enjoying. And that is the reminiscence of the divine potency of enjoyment of the Lord. So we are eternally connected to Srimati Radharani. But by invoking her spiritual blessings, we will be eternally connected, enjoying in the pastimes of the Lord in Golok Vrindavan. So she makes our journey. As Srila Prabhupada says, she helps us invoke Krishna's compassion and take us to him. So I shall stop here. What is the time?
8:30, Prabhu.
8:30. Yeah. You have to stop 8:45. So I stop here and we see if we have any questions, comments, corrections, or anyone wants to say anything, share anything. Please go ahead. Okay. Has anyone typed any questions?
No, Prabhu. I request all the devotees to come forward, either type in the chat or unmute themselves to ask questions or add
Prabhu,
comments.
I had a question.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, it was a wonderful talk about Radharani. Now, I just had a small query. You know, when you said there are 5 things that we need to remember, that is, you know, whom we worship and the one who is the holy abode. What was the 4th one that you mentioned? Sorry, I missed that.
So first is Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya. The
Yes.
Lord, who is Nanda Maharaj's son, he is Bhagavan. He is the supremely worshipable. Number 2, Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. The Dham is Vrindavan. Worshipable place is Vrindavan. Number 3, Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita. That way of worship, mode of worship, which was exemplified by the Vrajavadhus, that which gives enjoyment to the Lord is the way of worship. And number 4, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. The highest evidence, spotless evidence. And that which brings us closer to Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam. By serving Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimati Radharani is pleased. What are the gopis doing? Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham. Tava kathamritam. They are constantly chanting the katha of the Lord. What is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is nothing but Hari Leela Amritam Bhagavatam. It's only the Leelas of the Lord. So 4th is Srimad Bhagavatam. 5th, Prema Pumartho Mahan. Ultimate goal we are all aiming for is love of Godhead. Make sense?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I can see there are some very senior devotees here. Pradyumna Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I am also blessed by Vrajavasis. Kishori Mataji, Hare Krishna. I was wondering why I am able to speak so much. It is because of Pradyumna Prabhu's presence. And Kishori Mataji, Vrajavasi's presence. Pradyumna Prabhu,
Hare
please say
Krishna.
something.
Hare Krishna, Kartik, Chandra Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just about to dip out because I had to go for some service, but you called me and I returned.
Please
At
go
your
ahead.
request.
Please carry on.
Thank you so much for being with us. As I put in the chat, it's always auspicious to see you and hear from you, and your insightful teachings through the class are always valuable. And the point I make in the chat is that I think you give a very insightful opportunity for us to capture these ideas and thoughts and teachings as a meditation for today. And you know, for most of us who are staying back here in Leicester to celebrate Radhashtami, or whether we're going to London for Rath Yatra, I think we carry that meditation with us. And I really appreciated the it's sometimes difficult on a day like today as to how far and how deep we go with the esoteric matters of the spiritual world. But I appreciated your balanced perspective of Lord Chaitanya and the compassionate approach, and how Radharani is bringing everyone to Krishna, bringing everyone before Krishna, and how that is actually our service, our parampara, to bring ourselves before Krishna with the request of devotees and spiritual master, and then to take on that mood of compassionate service to bring others before Krishna. So I really appreciated that balanced and missionary approach to your class as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Kishori Mataji, do you want to say something? Is she there?
Yes, Prabhu, she's there.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Haribol.
Jai Shri Radhe. Well, I'm here with
Jai
all
Shri
my.
Radhe.
We're here with all the children, so I have to run out. They're
Okay.
all listening, but I'm just so grateful. It's one thing to be a Brijavasi by name, like you say, but truly we are just indebted to your love for Srimati Radharani, for Vrindavan, all the Vaishnavas. So thank you so much for this class. I feel so enlivened.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anyone else is there would like to say anything? Or any questions, comments? Deva Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Would you
very
like to
wonderful
share
class
anything?
today. Prabhuji, please keep coming to lesser program like this and give your insightful classes. Really helpful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Janmas. Happy Radhashtami.
Happy Radhashtami to you too. Karuna Chaitanya Prabhu, are there any questions or comments or anything that you'd like to add?
No, Prabhu, my heartfelt thanks to you for accepting to release the pastimes of Radhashtami. Thank you so much. There are no questions. I again request all the devotees to come forward, ask any questions. It's a very rare and wonderful opportunity to have His Grace Kartik Chandra Prabhu with us.
Could I steal the chance then?
Sure, Mother.
Prabhu, if you'd be kind enough to maybe just comment on, I've heard so many variations of whether Radha and Krishna get married or whether they never get married, and maybe just wanted to hear your version.
Yes. So our Gaudiya Acharyas have made it very clear. If you read Gopala Champu, for example, Jiva Goswami's work, he was the last of all Acharyas, all Gaudiya Acharyas alive, the 6 Goswamis. He was the last of the Goswamis, and Gopala Champu was the last of his mega works. And the last chapter of the Gopala Champu, the last 3 chapters actually, describe the marriage of Radha and Krishna. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions that actually they are unmarried. How is this reconciled? I'll make it very, from a Gaudiya perspective, how is this reconciled? It's reconciled in this manner, that when the Bhauma Leela happens, the Leela on earth happens, that Leela, Radha and Krishna remain unmarried. So Parakiya Ras is exhibited here. But in the eternal pastimes of the Lord, Radharani is cooking in Mother Yashoda's kitchen, waiting for Krishna to return. And Jiva Goswami says very clearly that they are all, not just Radharani, but all the gopis of Vraj are married to Krishna. They consider only him as their husband. And in fact, even in Bhauma Leela, where the gopis, some gopis, when they came during the Rasa dance to see Krishna, even that time, Yogamaya had created copies of those gopis who stayed with their husbands. And actually, Jiva Goswami goes as far as saying even the original marriages of those gopas with those gopis were only with the copies of those gopis. The real gopis, they were always with Krishna. So in Bhauma Vrindavan. And in Golok Vrindavan, they are all married to Krishna. And this is how the reconciliation is between marriage of Radha Krishna In Bhauma Vrindavan, they remain in Parakiya Ras. They enjoy this mood of separation. That mood of separation is not there in the Golok Vrindavan. And that is why Bhauma Leela is considered to be very, very relishable by the Lord. That separation Leela is considered to be relishable by the Lord. Please let me know if this makes sense, Kishori Mataji, or you might want to add something.
Wow, that's really wonderful. This is the first time I've heard that Parakiya Ras is not there in the spiritual world. Have I misunderstood that?
No, that is correct. That is mentioned in Gopala Champu and Gopala Champu's commentaries, the last 3 chapters by Jiva Goswami. So I'm giving you the reference as well. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also in 3 different places have accepted that.
Acha. So, but it's described as being the highest.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. So that is why the Lord was through both the Vipralamba, which is experienced by Mahaprabhu. So that's why Mahaprabhu comes to experience that Vipralamba bhav. And in that Vipralamba bhav, one becomes very, very Audarya. So it accelerates it. Mahaprabhu's appearance is like a catalyst. You know, in chemical reaction, you put some catalyst, the reaction happens much faster. So Mahaprabhu in that Vipralamba bhav exhibits so much Audarya that he is just, you all take Krishna. I'm looking for Krishna, you all take Krishna. You know, that mood. Radharani.
Wow.
So that is why there is this, both of these exist. But Gopal Champu makes it very, very clear how these are differentiated.
So wonderful to imagine that we were so close only 500 years ago. Mahaprabhu is here experiencing something that Krishna does not even experience in the spiritual world. It's mind-blowing.
True. Absolutely. This statement is absolutely true. Mahaprabhu was experiencing what Krishna does not experience in the spiritual world. That is why he comes. Otherwise, why does he come? He could have, if there is Vipralamba there, he could have just remained, oh, I'm now separated, now I'm in union. Now I'm separated, now I'm in union. No, there's Vipralamba only here. It is the glory of this particular Kali Yuga where Mahaprabhu appears. So we are very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada made it accessible. So
Jai.
we say, Jadi gaur na hoito, I can't sing, you are a singer. Tabe ki hoito, ke mone dhari tamde. Jadi gaur na hoito. If there was no Gaura, then how could I have remained alive? Why? What did Gaura do? Radhar Mahima. The glories of Radharani. Prema Rasa Sima. The highest level of Prema Rasa. Sima. Sima is the highest level. That was exemplified by, and that was illuminated to the world by Gaura. Radha Mahima, Prema Rasa Sima. This is what was given by Mahaprabhu. So, our Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he sang once, Jadi Prabhupada na hoito. Prabhupada was not there. What would have happened to us? There would have been no access to Mahaprabhu. Well, others were doing it, but Prabhupada made it just widely available, indiscriminately available. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. And there is no one like Prabhupada. That is just the truth. It's not just a glorification, it is truth. There is nobody like Prabhupada, and there's nobody like Gauranga, and there's nobody like Srimati Radharani. Okay, Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai, 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 Jai Shri Radhe.
So today you have to give your blessing to me that I may become a little bit,
Krishna.
that Radharani may shower Krishna's compassion Only as
don't.
Prabhupada says.
મને પાપ લાગશે તમે ફરી આવું નહીં બોલતા.
Brajavasis, your dust is enough.
Your dust on our head. Thank
Hare
you so much,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Haribol. Anyone else has anything to add or any comments? We are reaching 8:45. So, Karuna Chaitanya Prabhu, a few words from you. You want to say anything? Otherwise, we'll close the call.
Yeah, Prabhu. I ask one more time to all the devotees, if you have any questions, please. We still have a few minutes. You can grab them from Kartik Chandra Prabhu.
Well, those of you who are coming to London for the Rath Yatra, I hope to see you there. Maybe we will bump into each other. You can still make it. Rath Yatra is at 12, so even if you leave from Leicester in the next half an hour to an hour, you should still be able to make it. So if you plan to come, we will probably see each other in person. Okay, if there are no further questions, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyascha. Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Jai.
Jai.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.